This time I want to show you how to knit a pocket heart, also known as a pocket hug. They're small enough to fit on a business size card and should include a message of love and or encouragement. By the way, if you purchase this pattern at lumahad.store, both of these cards will be included with your purchase. They're downloadable and you can reprint them as many times as you'd like. Hey, it's Denise from lumahad.com. To make this project, you're going to need a 12 peg Flower Loom, 3 yards of worsted weight yarn, your loom hook, yarn needle, and scissors. Without further delay, let's get started with the drawstring cast on of 12 pegs. And so we're using a single strand of worsted weight yarn. I'm going to secure it to the anchor peg, and I'm going to use a simple knot. You can use a slip knot if you're more comfortable, and take that strand between pegs 1 and 12, and the direction doesn't matter, right to left, left to right. You're going to put it behind peg 1, in front of 2, behind peg 3, and in front of peg 4, and you're basically doing a zigzag in and out method of putting your yarn on your loom. And then just continue to do that. It's basically every other one has a loop in front, right? Then when you get to peg 1, you're going to put the yarn behind peg 1 again, and I'm going to get a stitch marker because I want you to be able to identify peg 1 very well. And by the way, you can get these stitch markers at lumahad.store. Alright, so you're going to lay the yarn loosely over these 12 pegs. Okay? And then you're going to get your hook and we're going to knit off every peg that has 2 loops. Starting with peg 2, you're going to take the bottom loop over the top and knit off. So, bottom loop over the top, and you're noticing that it's every other peg that has 2 loops. And so you're going to continue to do this until you get to the last peg, which is peg 12, and again you're going to knit off that bottom loop over the top. And that means that you're now done with the cast on and you're ready for row 1. But first I want you to notice that peg 1 does not have a loop. And so for row 1, you're only going to knit 11 pegs. So you're going to take your working yarn and you're going to lay it over pegs 1 and 2. And on row 1 only, you're going to begin with peg 2. That's the first peg that you're going to knit off because peg 1 did not have 2 loops. It only had 1. Now it has enough loops for you to be able to knit off. So we're using the U-wrap version of the knit stitch in order to knit the project. So you half wrap and knit off. I want you to make note of this. For the U wrap, you half wrap the peg like this. See how it looks like a U? And then you take the bottom loop over the top, and that is the version of the knit stitch that we're going to use for this project. And as you continue to knit, I want to take this time to say thank you to our closed captioning sponsors. Special thank you to Carol Maple from PromiseLearningATL.com, Penny Pitchard, Barbara Ledger, Lori Shaw, and our brand new Bob Eckhard, which I'm hoping that I said his name correctly, but he's a beautiful person, so I'm sure he will forgive me if I said it incorrectly. Thank you so much, guys. Really, I so appreciate it. Once you finish knitting off peg 12, you're done with that row and you're ready to knit rows 2 through 5 where you're going to knit all 12 pegs. But before you do that, take the knot off the anchor peg. You don't need it anymore. Your yarn is secure, and to leave it on will cause more problems. Then take your working yarn, start knitting your 12 pegs. Again, I'm using the U-wrap. You can also use the flat or the true. Don't use the E-wrap. And once you're done with those 5 rows, you're ready for the drawstring cast off of those 12 pegs. You're going to take the working yarn and wrap it around the loom one full time. Get your scissors and cut the working yarn. You then put it under that first peg, and with your hook from the top, you're going to scoop up and feed the working yarn through that loop. You're then going to do the same thing for all 12 pegs. Make sure that you don't leave any undone. If you do, your work will unravel. So just take your hook from the top, scoop up, and feed the yarn, the working yarn, through each loop. Once you're done doing that, then you can use the hook or your fingers to go ahead and take all the loops off the pegs and release your project from the loom. You're then going to take those drawstrings and you're going to pull on both. As you pull, they will close. The opening on each end will close. You also want to stretch those stitches so that your fabric looks well. And then just keep doing that until you've closed both the top and bottom openings on the project, and you're ready to get your needle, thread one of the ends with the needle, and then feed it through those drawstring or cast on or cast off loops. You're just going to feed it through at least one time, and then you're going to like pinch the project to make it flat. That's going to bring that opening, that little hole, to the middle. So now it looks like a flat circle, and you're going to take your needle and feed it through that opening to the other end. Pull on it to make sure that one side is closed really well, and then with your scissors cut the string off. That leaves you with one string on the top of your circle. Now take the leftover string and feed it through your sewing needle, and you're going to go ahead and do the same thing. You're going to feed it through those drawstring loops to make sure that it's closed, and then you're going to take it and feed it through that little hole. So now it's coming from the middle of the circle, and you're going to take it and wrap it around the top and feed it through the back, the little hole that's in the back, and that's going to leave you with a loop on the top of the circle, which you're going to pull, and it's going to pinch the top of the circle to form a little heart. And there you can clearly see there's a heart. You're going to want to do this at least one more time. I did it twice on some hearts and 3 times on others. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. And then you could either decide to take this leftover strand up to the top of the heart to use it to attach the heart, or you could do like I did. I cut it off, and that leaves you with just a little heart. And you want to pinch it and shape it, so you're pinching the top where the 2 loops are and the bottom. Once you're done, go ahead and cut off the strand if that's what you want to do, and your heart is basically done. Just keep pinching it into shape, and in fact you can even spray it with a little bit of water and leave it overnight if you're really picky about it. Otherwise, just keep pinching it until it's shaped the way you want it. And then one side is nicer than the other. I happen to like this side better, and so that's the one that's going to be facing when I put it on the card. So get your card that you printed, and with your scissors or your cutter, cut out your card. I use scissors. I just find it easier. And then personally, I used a low temperature glue gun to attach the little heart to the card. Green happens to be my son's favorite color, and so that's why his little heart is green. You could pick whichever color you prefer. I also took a hole puncher and punched a hole on the top of some of them and put a string, because I wanted to attach it to a water bottle to share with the folks in my city that are homeless. And you can even on the back you can make it more personal if you like. These can be used for so many things. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching till the end. Remember to subscribe, and when you share the video it helps me a lot. Lots of big hugs for my Loomas.